Okay, howdy folks, and welcome back after Easter. I hope you had a nice break, and we're going to continue on with our soils topic. Alright, we've only got 3 lessons left on soils, so I'll be sending a little quiz for next week. Okay, I'll tell you more about that on Friday. Just to begin, I want to go back over our desertification homework, this one in front of you now, and I also want to just review the soils homework, which was the last assignment as well. Now, on this one from New Wider World, okay, we had question 7b from 261. Unfortunately, for those of you who watched the videos, you realized that it was all of question 7, not just 7b, but a lot of people just sent in this piece of the homework. So, besides that, a lot of you got confused, okay? So what we were looking at was the main causes of desertification, and we're going to hear a lot of these words again today in the topic with soil, because soils and deserts are very closely linked. Alright? You were given climatic change and population growth. These are the two biggest causes of desertification. Desertification at the other end of the scale, okay, that is when normal land is turned into, okay, is eroded away and turned into desert landscape, okay? Now, we had our two major causes, so it's got a bit blurry there. We had climate change and population growth. Alright, so the first one, I was very, very clear in this in the notes, I feel. Climate change. If the climate changes, there's going to be less rainfall and increased droughts. Okay, so that was the first one you needed in there. Next of all, we had these three given to us. More animals need to be reared, more land needed for crops, and more energy for cooking and fire and so on. Okay, fuel. So for population growth, if the population gets bigger, we need more animals to eat, we need more crops to eat, and we need more wood to burn for cooking and for energy. Alright, so the first one you should have got was less rainfall and increased drought. Now, as we went through the notes in New Wider World for this, I feel I was very, very clear. So if you watch the video, alright, and it looks like a lot of the people who got this completely right probably did watch the video, alright? More animals being reared leads to overgrazing. Animals graze all of the vegetation away. They eat it. So overgrazing was the next one, okay? More land needed for crops. We talked about cultivation, the cultivation of crops, okay? So over-cultivation, alright? Next of all then, more energy for cooking or for fuel. That means trees and the like need to be cut down to burn. Deforestation. Okay, so those three went in there. Now the next ones then, alright, there was only 3 in here. So less rainfall, increased drought leads to vegetation dying. Vegetation dies if it doesn't get any rain. Alright, so that went in there. Overgrazing, there's so many animals, the vegetation cannot re-establish. It can't keep coming back. It can a little bit, but not fully. Alright, it's only these two, okay, where the vegetation is removed. The trees are cut down here, and we remove vegetation to grow crops. So vegetation is removed. Alright, the 3 of these things combined, dying vegetation, not being able to re-establish, and vegetation being removed, they lead back to soil exposed to wind and rain, and this is what we're going to look at today. Increased risk of soil erosion, desertification. Okay, so when these things happen, the soil is exposed. We're going to look at this and this today. So soil is exposed to wind and rain, it gets eroded, leads to desertification. Okay, so that's that one there. I want you all to correct that. Okay, you can do that in your notes today. We're going to make some notes once we head up, or you can correct it on your homework sheet. The second one I want to look at is just this piece. Everybody else actually did very, very well on the other pieces. Okay, so of this task, it was just this one really, the last task. So you were given 2 soil profiles like this. Okay, they were the same. At the bottom, one said podzols, and the other one said tropical rainforest soil. Okay, so I was trying to be as blatant and obvious with that as I could. Alright, so what you need to do is we read through in the same lesson I set this, the video, I read through podzol soils, where they form, and I read through tropical rainforests, where they form. Okay, and again, by this stage we should know tropical rainforest. Tropical means somewhere hot and wet. Okay, tropical rainforests are near the equator. Tropical rainforests, they're a rainforest. They're full of a huge variety of vegetation, and the climate is very hot and wet. Podzol soils, when we read through those, they occur in much colder regions. Okay, they've only got one real type of vegetation, which is the conifer trees, and like I said, a colder climate. So we started off here then. We'd also gone through the different horizons. The top layer is always the leaf litter or humus layer. The humus is actually just below. So leaf litter was always going to be the top ones. Okay? Now, as we just said, podzols are mainly covered by conifer trees. So the first one is going to be acid leaf litter from conifer trees. Alright? Very simple. This one for rainforest soil, leaf litter from rainforest trees. Now, what amazes me then is a lot of you managed to get the next couple of questions right about the speed of decay in rainforests compared to colder climates. In an area that's very, very hot and very wet, you will have rapid decay of leaf litter. Okay, in areas that it's cold, you'll have a slower decay. All right, and you'll also have this acid humus layer, slow breakdown of leaf litter because it's a colder climate. Alright, the reason it's acidic is because of the type of vegetation. There's only one real type of vegetation occurring there, whereas here there's lots. So if you've got more humus and more variety of dead, rotting vegetation, you're going to have a horizon rich in minerals. We also read about how the tropical rainforest soils are a bright red colour. Okay, so you should have that one there. Again, if you'd watched a video about reading about the podzols, it said it was a grey or sandy horizon and it lacks nutrients. Why does it lack nutrients? Because there's just one main type of vegetation adding nutrients to it. In the rainforest, you've got lots of different types of vegetation, trees, plants, shrubs, vines, all sorts of things. So it's a very rich array of minerals. Then the last one here, wash down from above to accumulate here. And again, iron and aluminium. Aluminium is mentioned here. Granted, iron is not. But obviously, if it says it's getting washed down from above, it'll be down the bottom layer. Okay? So you should have 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this side. Alright? So that's our 2 assignments done. What I want to do, I'm going to jump in to start our lesson for today. We'll head up and get some keywords done, and then I'll do the rest of it in a second video. Alright, so bear with me 1 sec before we get started. Okay, so what we can do just very quickly. Alright, here's headings for the day. Okay, so soil, what we're looking at: soil fertility and erosion, today's date, Covey connection, and objective. Okay, so we'll focus on that. You can head that up, and then we're going to move on. So what I want to look at first is just a couple of keywords. We will then read through some work on Bunnet and New Wider World. Okay, so again, you can pause this here to go through your keywords, and you can go back and pause it for your headings as well. So you need to make a quick note of these. Do this under where you have headed up. So we have erosion. We should know that word by now, but let's do it again. Shifting cultivation and crop rotation. Okay, so erosion is the breakdown or destruction of soil layers through overuse or removal of vegetation cover. This is the big one that erodes soil. All right, if there's no cover left, it erodes away. Think about the desertification homework we just answered. These are 2 methods which lead to erosion. So these 2 cause this to happen. Okay. Crop rotation is slightly better, okay, where farmers grow different crops on an area of land each year to allow certain minerals to reproduce and so on. So make a quick note of those, and then the second video you'll need Bunnet and New Wider World. Okay, I'll give you the pages shortly.